Kate, welcome to the Crush the Rush podcast. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Oh my gosh, me too. I'm super stoked. We were just saying before we hit record that we both have some antisocial programs and stuff. And I love being able to talk to somebody else who's kind of in this space, but doing it, like you said, a little differently. And usually it's like me talking to people who are, all in on social media and I'm like convincing them otherwise. So this will be fun.
No, I love this. And Kate, you're completely off social, if I remember correctly. Like you're not on at all.
I have not done anything in over 4 years on social. Yeah. So no posts, no scrolls, no DMs, no reels, I don't even have the app on my phone. I don't use it personally. I'm totally off.
Yeah. So one of the questions that we always ask when we start the podcast is, what does building a life first business mean to you? And I feel like that is probably one of the steps that you took, because I can imagine like how much time you have back from doing that.
Yes. So much time back. Oh my gosh. And so much, the thing that I always say is like, yes, obviously it's so much time back, but the thing that makes almost more of a difference to me is like the mental bandwidth of just not thinking about it anymore. So much of my brain space went to like thinking about what I was going to post, wondering how the post did, checking the stats, thinking about how I could hack the algorithm and like, what are the new things that people are doing now? And so I feel like that has freed up so much for me. That has been almost more liberating than the time itself, although the time itself is significant.
Yeah. What do you feel like led you to that like breaking point of like, I'm kind of just done with this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so many things. I will say that the last straw is kind of funny because I was reading a novel, like a psychological thriller, and it was like the main character was a influencer. And there was something about like the story kind of took place, like the plot revolved around the fact that she was so easily findable because she posted everything that she was doing all the time. And that kind of led to the mystery of what happened. So the book's called Pretty Things, I think. And that when I read that and started thinking about like just the privacy piece of it, that I hadn't even really thought about that before, but I was just like, this is all so stupid. What are we doing this for? And there's something too about the influencer culture of like being in her head while she was talking about what she was going to post and how she was thinking about it and like retaking the same shot 500 times, that I was just like, oh my God, what a waste of life. I've got to get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. I read a quote I can't remember what it was the other day. And it was like social's like not really even social anymore.
Right.
Because it's really I joke that I'm like the Facebook age bracket where you post things of your kids and like that's basically what Facebook is. But that's not what people are doing on the apps anymore. And so it's mainly like maybe news, maybe a little bit of celebrity, what are they doing? But then it's really just like, here's what I'm doing kind of thing. And so I think that's just like an interesting approach. Can you share with us what happened to your business? Because I know the outcome after you went off social.
Yeah. So of course I was terrified to go off, although I was so over it that part of me was just like, well, it can't get worse, And like I said, there were a lot of things that led up to me leaving social, one of which was just like, it wasn't working. And I felt like I was constantly banging my head against the wall with it. So part of me when I left was like I said, well, it can't get worse. It's not doing anything for me anyway. So what could happen if I stopped doing it? But there was still this little part of me that thought, I don't know, maybe it's doing more than I realize, or maybe there is something to this. And so anyway, I quit. And the first year that I was off social, my business grew 165%. So it was absolutely not helping and actually being off of it. And like I said, the brain space, the time to focus on other strategies that actually did work and did move the needle, like changed my business exponentially.
Yeah. What do you think one of the biggest strategies was that led to that growth?
So I've always been a fan of SEO. My first online business was more of a traditional blog, and I grew that to 250,000 page views a month. And then I ended up selling it for multiple six figures. So when I started this business, Success with Soul, I really took what I learned about generating organic traffic using SEO, and I applied that to this business. And so I would say SEO has been and continues to be one of my biggest strategies that I rely on. Now it's kind of morphing into GEO and how to rank
Yeah.
for search, not just search engines, but in AI tools and how to get mentioned by ChatGPT and stuff. But it's a lot of the same kinds of strategies and concepts. So there's minor tweaking that happens now with our posts. But yeah, SEO was, I would say at the time, especially, was like my number one way that I was getting traffic to my site.
Yeah, I love this so much. I feel like SEO has been such a game changer for us. I'm curious if you're listening, because you've probably heard me talk about it. I feel like I say the word blog like every day, and people are like, "Are you like back in the 2000s?" And I'm like, "No, like it really is making a big difference." What's like one step you could give for somebody to get started with SEO?
So I feel like this step it is the one that works the best, but it's the one that people hate to hear because they always are looking for something really like some magical secret.
Yeah.
And like it's actually not that complicated, which to me is good news. You don't have to have like a PhD in computer science to be able to understand SEO and get your posts to rank. But my tip would be to start by answering the questions that your people are actually typing into Google or to ChatGPT. What are they actually saying? What are they wondering about? What are they struggling with? And then just start writing posts that answer those questions.
I love that. I love that so much. And I think that, I don't know, I feel like some people get overwhelmed by blogging, and I was like, it can hang out there for a minute and you can go back and you can fix it or you can change it later. Like it's not this like end all be all.
It doesn't have to be perfect right out the gate. It doesn't disappear after 24 hours, right? Like this is one of the reasons I love it too, is like you can publish it. And then now a lot of times, like we have hundreds of posts on our site now. So I'm not always focused on generating new content. Sometimes I'm just going back and updating old content for either, maybe we have broken links. Maybe I have different offers now or new lead magnets. Maybe I have new affiliate links I could put in. Maybe now we've learned more about how to rank with AI tools. So I'm going in and I'm optimizing posts that way. So it builds and it compounds over time. And what you do today will actually appreciate for your business rather than social media, which it's like driving a car off the lot. It like immediately depreciates.
I love this. I feel like we use the same words. It's so fun. Okay, so your website is Success with Soul. And so one of the things that I want to understand is like, what does your marketing system look like that is more soul led, which I think is the reason you probably got off social.
Yeah. Well, for me in this context, being more soul led is doing things that are more in alignment with my values. One of the other reasons I got off social was after watching The Social Dilemma and really understanding how these platforms were designed made me feel like, wow, I really don't agree with this. This is really harmful. And then when 2020 came and the election and all of the misinformation being spread, it again was sort of like, this is just not aligned with my values. So for me, the soul context comes into finding marketing strategies that are more aligned with my values and that don't like suck the soul out of me for using them. So, social media was so soul sucking for me. It was so bad for my mental health. So finding things that now are more sustainable, are more evergreen, are more aligned with my values, all of that has been great. And so the main things that I rely on, I really go back to like the 2 or 3 main things. 2 are free and 1 is paid. And so the 2 free ones that have made the biggest difference for me is guesting on other people's podcasts. And so especially if I've been on really big name podcasts, like they have done wonders for my business. I was on Jenna Kutcher's podcast and Amy Porterfield's, and the traffic that I got from those appearances was amazing. So I love guesting on other people's podcasts. And then I love speaking at summits and participating in bundles. I think I prefer summits, but sometimes they kind of go like summits and bundles go together. And that's a free thing that you can do. And you'll get immediately put in front of usually thousands of new people, and they opt into your freebie. And so I grew my list last year. I really doubled down on bundles and summits in 2024. And I grew my list by over 7,000 new leads just from doing that free strategy. So if you don't have money to spend on ads, then I would say go the bundles and summits route. And it's like an immediate ROI. So obviously they're not all created equal. Some get better results than others. If you have some money to invest, paid ads are the best, fastest way to grow your email list. And to me, even if you're advertising on social platforms, that is very different from being active on social media. Like I equate it to buying a billboard on the side of a highway. Doesn't mean I'm driving on the highway stuck in traffic. I'm just meeting people where they are. So I'm not on social, but this allows me to reach the people that are. And so, yeah, I love doing ads too.
Yeah. A lot of times I hear, oh, but will people in summits and bundles actually pay attention to me? So I'm curious if you could give us like, how do you stand out in some of those? Like what's something that you do that you think makes you stand out opposed to, some summits and bundles are amazing. Some are, there's 1,000 people and you get like free download at gmail.com or whatever.
Yeah.
So how have you been able to stand out in those?
So mostly I would say I am now pretty judicious about who I will partner with. And so I really make sure that I'm researching the host, that they have either a history of having successful summits and bundles, or if it's their first one, that they are like legit and trustworthy. I also always want to know what they're going to do to promote the contributors, because I'm not contributing just to grow their business, right? Like then if they want me to do that, they can pay me for my time to come speak and then we can just promote their stuff. But if I'm contributing like a free course of mine, or I'm speaking and, giving them a presentation, then I want to make sure that they're promoting me. So I'll ask some questions like that just to make sure like that they're actually highlighting their speakers or their contributors. And then I have found that the best performing ones for me are about a very specific topic. So like I just spoke at the Aligned AI Summit earlier this year. That was a very specific topic about how to use AI in a specific way. So it wasn't even just like an AI summit. It was specifically how to do it in a really soulful, aligned way. So that I find got me better results than some of the events where it's just like, grow your online business. And they're really kind of vague and you get a bunch of stuff in there. Those have not been as profitable for me or, successful unless the host is really experienced at doing it and they've got like a good system down. The last thing I'll say is that also making your contribution aligned with the topic of the summit. So like sometimes I've contributed something that in hindsight, I would look back and go like, why did I think that would work for this? But like, for the Aligned AI Summit, I contributed an AI offer, right? It wasn't just like any old offer. So that's been helpful too.
Yeah, such good feedback. Okay, I'm going to switch topics a little bit, but I think it kind of goes along with everything that we've been talking about. And one of the things that you talk about is feminist funnels. And so I personally believe that if you are off social, you need to have things working for you behind the scenes, whether it be blogs or podcasts, interviews, or whatever the things are. And that usually means a funnel. So I'm curious, tell us about this feminist funnel model and how does it differ from what you usually will see?
So the main way that my funnel system differs is like the traditional, more masculine funnel model is like the top-down triangle, right? Where people enter at the top and then you hope to work their way down. And it's usually like one offer that you're trying to sell them. And at the end, like if they convert, great. And if they don't, like there's not really a plan for what happens after that. So it's a very linear model. And the reason I call it a feminist funnel is because it is a cyclical funnel system, kind of like a flywheel. If you've ever heard that growth flywheel is like a marketing strategy. And so this is a cyclical thing. I equate it to like the snowball effect, that like the more everything you do is feeding the snowball, right? And like the more you do, the more it keeps, and I shouldn't say the more you do because it's more like the more things that feed the snowball, the bigger it gets and it starts compounding over time. So in this funnel system, without going into too much detail here, I'll say one of the differences also is that I try to convert new leads, like at the top of your funnel or in the top of the circle, it might be like the attract phase. And so you're getting strangers coming to your site and you have to do something with them. And so I'm trying to convert them into buyers on day one. And that's a little different from that linear model where you're maybe trying to convert them into leads and then you'll nurture them into buyers later. I set up everything, every lead magnet on my site and every offer on my site has a tripwire on it the first time you see it. So everybody people become like go from being casual browsers to first time buyers on the first day that they find me. And that's really changed the game for me too. And that I'm not having to nurture and like do all of this stuff before I can make the sale. I give them a really irresistible discount on a really juicy offer. And they get on my email list and they immediately see a tripwire, or they land on a sales page and they immediately get a pop-up discount that's like get 80% off for the next 15 minutes only. And so that's been really helpful. Then once they actually get onto my list, then they have a lot of different other funnels that are working as part of like an ecosystem, and they're selling lots of different offers. It's not just that linear, like everything leads to this one thing and that's it.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you're like, this sounds amazing, but technically this makes my head spin. Yes. Like, do you have a team? Do you set this up yourself? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah. I have one part-time contractor on my team, and that's it. It's just me and this one other person. I have had past iterations of my business where I sold a really high ticket mastermind. I only sold one thing and I had a team of 5 W-2 employees and I had a very expensive payroll. That, along with social media, like nearly broke me. And so, yes, I run now a very high profit, low pressure, low maintenance business. So a lot of these are automated systems that do take time to set up in the beginning, but once they're running, then you're not having to do anything additional. So I hate that like passive income, I feel like has gotten away from us.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing as truly passive income, but this is about as close as you can get of setting up these repeatable, automated, evergreen systems.
Yeah. I love this so much. And I think if you're listening, like hopefully this just inspires you as like a really amazing case study that you really can do things differently and you can do things with a very lean team. I mean, Kate inspires me very much. So I'm curious, because it is you and one other person, like what's one tool or system that you like could not go without?
So I host everything in Kartra. I run my entire business in Kartra. I pay less than $200 a month, or right around $200 a month. This is where I create all of my landing pages, all of my forms, all of my checkouts, all of my sales pages, all of my emails, all of my funnels, my calendars. Like it does everything all in one place. And I've been with Kartra now for over 6 years. So it's just my favorite. And I love having an all-in-one system where I can like log into one place and see everything in one place. So yeah, Kartra, I would say, is one tool I absolutely cannot live without. And if I had to say another one, I might say Airtable.
Oh, I love Airtable. I feel like we've been leaning into Airtable a little bit more, which is really fun. Okay, just for fun, what's your go-to grounding ritual during a busy season?
Okay, well, I have this on my desk right here in front of me. So I love the Tibetan singing bowls. And so I've gotten really into like at the beginning and end of my workday, I also have like the little, I don't know what they're called, but they're like clackers.
Yeah.
But they make like a bell sound, and you clang them together. And so I will like give myself like, even if it's just 2 minutes to just like do the sound bath basically. And it's just me and myself in one little bowl. It's not like a big extensive setup or anything.
Yeah.
But there is something really grounding about it.
Yeah, I feel like we have so much in common. I just went to my first like solo sound bath. I say that because I was so nervous to like go by myself, but I was like, I need to go. I just need to go. And it was so amazing. It was a full hour and I was like, oh,
so good. I also have like Spotify playlists where I just listen to sound baths and like, more like chanting and stuff like that. And I do that a lot when I'm working. It helps me like focus and stuff. But this is like something that also like kind of moves my body too, to like, be
so good. Okay. Last but not least, what would you tell yourself back when you believed you had to be everywhere online to be successful?
Who says?
Yeah.
Who says you have to be everywhere? Is it true? How do you know?
It's not true. I mean, you're like walking proof. I love it. I love it. I think it's such a good example of just how to think differently and to like truly align your business with like what you want to be and how you want to do things and how you want to feel. I can literally ask you questions all day because I feel like our brains are so similar. I love it.
I know.
But I know that my listeners are going to want to learn more from you, learn what you're doing, see what you're doing, tell them where they can connect with you.
Yes. Well, obviously, I'm not on social media, so I won't tell you to connect with me there. But if you go to successwithsoul.co/social free, you can join my free 4-day challenge about how to quit social media and still make money and grow your business. So that's a great place to get started. And then you'll also kind of see my funnels and what it looks like to like join my email list and how I'm making money and presenting things. So you can kind of funnel hack me if you want.
I love that. I love a good funnel hack. I have like folders in my email of like, this is a great email. I love this. So I hope you guys all download Kate's challenge. It's very good. I love what she teaches. And thank you so much, Kate.
Thanks for having me, Holly. Super fun.